What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, some Quran, and the others. You know how that name thing go. But another go around with this official thanks here. Doing another Essex County all day edition. Actually, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm always excited, but I actually got a two orange icons basketball. You know, just jumping on here, like I said, I've just been humbled and just taken back by folks just reaching out or me reaching out and folks willingly wanting to jump on and just, talk, go down memory lane, what have you here. So it's just been cool. Been definitely a good run thus far here. Like I said, just I'm thankful for everybody and I look forward. Got a mean wish list. And like I said, hopefully I can just get through it as far as get to any and everybody here, because this has just been fun, especially the Essex County portion of it. And that's what it is. So I'm just gonna hold tight, wait for them to jump on, and we're just gonna get into it.
We here. What up?
There he is.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh man,
what's up? Hey, what's up, fellas? I really appreciate this.
It's big.
Yeah, Cleo and Reg here. Like I said, I know I got the go-to. He done became a official thanks consultant / recruiter of mine, your brother there, Cleo. As far as just reaching out to people. So it's been all love here. So not sure if you even seen a couple of these or what have you here, but basically what I've been doing, it was started off as just my immediate family, just kind of reaching out with this whole pandemic thing, just throwing a curveball or two and getting them on there and just telling them about my appreciation, showing my appreciation for them since I haven't been able to see them, but just doing something like that. And then it just spun into sports. And I realized like I'm from Orange, Essex County, what have you here. And there's a lot of people that I had a lot of admiration for, whether I've got to see him play a little bit, a whole lot, or just read about him. But like I just like a junkie when it comes to just around the way here about stuff. And obviously me being a young boy, whether it was Cleveland Street School or whatever the case is, Orange Middle, what have you, obviously the name Cleo Hill and Reg Miller, seep through, my circle here somehow, some way here, whether it was me befriending Cleon or just even outside of that, just even some of the old heads in Dodgetown where I was from, just talking about you guys as well too. So like I said, I'm honored and like totally humble you guys been able to take some time out just to talk with your boy here for a minute. So I really appreciate that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Definitely.
Word. It's for my brother Cleo, man. This is a blessing. I'm glad you put up this platform because lately a lot of people have been doing a lot of talking lately. I really don't know why, but I always said athletes should let others speak for them. And I know me and Cleo was cut from that cloth where we didn't go around talking about what we did, how we did it, because growing up, you only remember where you messed up. Like, I don't really remember my good games. I remember my bad ones. So, it's just weird that a lot of talk now, but I'm glad your platform is just to let the young people see, you got some people before you that paved the way.
Oh, totally. And I just, like I said, just been humbled by it. And I think just hearing, even hear more of you guys' stories shortly, but just hearing even the other guys that's been able to jump on that's been before me, just to hear it. I mean, again, I think obviously you got to know your past, and I know the future, is with the past here, and all that blends into the present as well too. So like I said, you make a valid point here. So like I said, I appreciate it. And again, folks have been talking. This has been great. I think it's just kind of one of those things. It's been great, as far as that goes. And I think my other reason for this too is just kind of like, you just never know where people are at in life, and I think those who had it or, was supposedly deemed that man or that woman here, might have got knocked down, man. They see something like this, be like, let me get my butt back up. I was that person. I'm still that person. I just had a couple of stumbling blocks. Let me get my butt back up and get going here. And even obviously with this pandemic and everything else, people, may feel that kind of way. But I think just to have some fun, go down memory lane, and then obviously bring it to the present. Like I said, for those, man, just kind of just to excite them and get back up and get situated, because your life ain't over. I mean, this thing
at all.
You just make adjustments and you move forward.
True.
Yeah. No. So. I know how much time I got with you, so I'm gonna just get going with you guys here. You talk about Orange here, as far as just growing up, just for you guys. I mean, again, I know you guys know each other like the back of your hands here, but just kind of, how was it for y'all just growing up? Was it Orange always, or were y'all, somewhere else before y'all got the Orange?
Cleo, you the oldest, go ahead.
For most of my life, it was Orange. I did spend some time in Newark because my grandmother was there, and younger, before high school, my father was coaching junior college. They had away games, and that's where kind of I would stay with my grandmother in Newark. But most of the time, it was Orange. It was between Haywood Avenue School, growing up in Orange Park, and Reggie will probably speak more to this. And I'm not sure why they don't have it now. They had I guess what we would call an Orange City elementary school league, where the schools would play each other. Haywood, Lincoln, like you say, Cleveland, Park Ave, and those are the things that I remember starting my journey in Orange. Just when it was okay for everybody to play out in the street, when it was okay for people to have sleepovers, and you could stay out until the street lights came on.
Yeah, that's it.
Those things you can't do now. You can't do a whole lot of that now. But I remember those things, and it's still kind of vague at Haywood. I remember my coach, Miss Bertelson, and a couple of teachers that Reg, I'm not sure if you talk to now, but I talk to Candy Holmes. I'm friends with,
great person.
Things like that. Right. Those were great times. Great times just growing up in Orange on my side of town, but even venturing to other parts of Orange. It was a good time.
Cleo grew up in Seven Oaks. He being modest.
look, Reg, I get that all the time.
He had his own bedroom, huh?
We weren't Seven Oaks. Seven Oaks was Seven Oaks, that circle, and Roberts Road. I was just hollering down.
You can throw a rock to Seven Oaks. That's what you can throw a rock. Yo, it was quiet at night over there. Nah, but it's all good though. Clear. I think growing up in Orange for me was different. I was born in Newark. A lot of people think I was born in Orange because I'm Orange crazy, but I was born in Newark. And my father moved up to Chapman Street, which is in between both projects, which is right behind the Peppermint Lion. So I grew up on that block, man. That's where I was at. I went to Oakwood for a minute, Mount Carmel, then we went to Lincoln Avenue. And that's when Cleo, all our basketball journey got started, because I wanted to play football because I had a cousin that was playing for Kentucky and he played for the pros, Derek Ramsey. He was a quarterback. So when I tried out for Little League, they put me on the line because I was big. I grew up bigger than everybody. I was tall. So they put me on the line. I wasn't feeling that. So I remember quit the Orange Elks and I walked down the Central Playground because they would practice at Central, and just started playing basketball like in third grade and really didn't look back. Cleo, the elementary league is huge now. They still have it. It's doing, it's really good. They spent it back. I would say probably about 10 years ago or so. And it's, Vicky Wright got a lot of championships with Oakwood, a lot of people coaching, Rosa Parks. So the games be crowded. All the games are at like the middle school. Your boy running it, Terry Boyd. So Terry Boyd was he helped push that back. And on Saturdays, it'd be jam-packed, and you just got games after games. So it's kind of cool. But the difference with us and them was we only had one team. Like they got the smaller team, and then they got the older team. You know what I mean? They got because elementary go to 7th grade, so you probably got your 6th, 7th graders, and you got the 4th, 5th graders.
Got it.
Me and Cleo was coming up. It wasn't elementary went to 6th grade, and it was mainly 5th, 6th graders for the most part that played on the elementary teams. It's just one team. Now they got like 2. The cheerleaders. It's really, really nice how they do it.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's what we grew up with. And you just grew up with, like, I think me and Cleo was like chameleons. We didn't have one clique. I think we grew up and was just universal. And I think that's how it is for a lot of athletes, especially basketball players in the city. You're going to get love all around the city because that's a game you could play all over, play by yourself, play 1-on-1, 2-on-2. If you was that like football player or track, it wasn't a lot of places in Orange. If football, you only had 3 places to play. Like, you know what I mean? Baseball, only a few places, but basketball, you can play anywhere and everybody knows you. So that's why you know, probably could go anywhere, play, be respected, protected. You know what I mean? So, you know, yeah. But I love Orange.
Yeah, so you tried to play football, put your hands in football. You had to call it
Oh
quits
man,
after.
I'm glad I did. I mean, it was a blessing. That's how God worked
Yeah.
everything out because I had a bad spine. So if I would have played football, I probably would have been in a wheelchair right now. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Cleo, I know obviously, you know, your father being Mr. Hill here, like, were you just with a basketball in your hand at birth, or were you able to try other sports, or was it just basketball solely?
Yeah, no, I didn't have much of a chance, man. You know, it was there from the start. I would say about 4 years old when I started really traveling to his basketball games, and that were at that time it was at they practiced at East Orange High. And a little bit at the YMCA. Reg, I know Reg remember the YMCA.
Oh my God, bro, that was the place, Mr. Summers.
Yeah. So they were there, and that's kind of, you know, I didn't have a choice. I was seeing it all the time. I was, and as now I'm at Winston-Salem State. I can remember the cookouts that my father and my mother had. They invited the team over a lot. A lot of my father's players from Winston-Salem used to come over sometimes. Earl Monroe and Thomas Montero and Ted Blunt and those guys, they used to come over and tell me stories about, you know, Winston-Salem State. And, you know, it just wasn't any way around it. I loved my father's teams. His teams, you know, were great. You know, Luke Grimsley and Troy Russell, you know, a lot of guys. He didn't have a lot of guys from Orange when I was growing. Those guys didn't go the junior college route. But you know, after probably 7th, 8th grade, you know, I started to get a feel for playing and a little bit more of a feel of his basketball career, what he went through in college, and as I was becoming a teenager, you know, reading more and hearing more about his journey in the NBA, which was brief. And then of course his journey as a coach. But I didn't have much of a chance, man. The basketball kind of was there at the start.
Yeah, basketball, and plus the name here. I mean, out of all names, you could have been named Stan or somebody else, but obviously you had, you know, you had his name. So yeah, I guess
you
had no choice. Yeah, you had no choice.
Yeah.
So you guys get going with obviously just kind of growing up playing ball or what have you. Like you mentioned, obviously the school leagues. Was there any other leagues before high school y'all played, or was it just that in the parks?
Go ahead, Cleo. You want
to? Yeah,
it was a lot of leagues. I think the best one, Cleo, believe it or not, like I love the elementary league because it introduced us to ball. And back then, I think everybody was almost even. You had like in the whole league, like 3 or 4 players that just stood out, but everybody was like North Carolina. Like you're gonna average about 8 to 10 points. You know what I mean? Nobody dropping 20. There's only like 4 or 5 guys that was really. Like on Lincoln Avenue, my crew, we had Rodney White, who was getting the points. But everybody else was on 8 to 10 points. You know what I mean? Cleo, same thing, but you had certain guys.
Wait a minute, Reg. Wait a minute. Now, we had a James Harden back in elementary school.
That's what I said. Everybody had one guy that, but most of the team was like simple with it. And then Central had Tony Wolford, you know what I mean? Or Sharif. Jimmy Martinez played with Cleo. And Jimmy was he was so
he was killer.
Nice. God rest his soul. But the league I liked the most when I was young that really touched me was at the Y, was the YBA. And that's when we had East Orange players and Orange players more or less got together, and they had different teams. So you look forward to Saturday mornings. Mr. Summers ran it, and he had us like tight, you know what I mean? We would get an all-star team from that, and that would be the Y traveling team, and we would go play Montclair or Newark or something like that, once in the blue. But for the most part, it was that YBA league or them summer leagues at Central Playground, you know, Colgate Park. You had the summer leagues, and you couldn't wait to play because everybody had to wait their turn. You know, when we was coming up, we always looked up to and respected the Ed Butlers, Greg Tynes, and all that crew, the Roy Kroon, that crew, and we were like 10 years behind them. So we was watching them play, and then it was our turn to get on the court. And cats don't understand, like me and Cleo was the only ones, if we played at Orange Park, the older guys pulled us up to play with them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't pull a lot of our friends. So they saw something in me and Cleo early on. People, I guess with me, like Cleo, I'm sure he showed the skill early. Me, I had the size. Because I was 6'5" in the ninth grade, so I had grew quick, you know what I mean? So I was always tall and long, but they saw the potential, I think. And we would always go get beat up by the grown men. The Central Playground had to play with grown men. You couldn't call foul, none of that stuff. I remember those. I remember my basketball. I had to like steal my ball to go home. I had to get the ball and run out the park because the guys would try to keep it, stay there. So those are just good memories, man. Just growing up there, you play with everybody.
Yeah, nah, that's good stuff, man. Then you guys get to high school. Y'all playing varsity immediately as soon as y'all freshman, ninth grade. Is it varsity right from the door? Or?
No,
go ahead.
I played freshman, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Greg White and Reg. I just connected with Greg White. Yeah, last year. I connected with him.
Good dude, good man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, almost brought tears to my eyes because I had been trying to get in contact with him for years and just couldn't. I think it was Nicole, Monica's daughter, that kind of connected us.
Okay, good.
And that was.
He had a great basketball mind.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
And he was a basketball football guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably the first coach that really had that confidence in me. And we had a very good team. It was my guards, Sharif, Gilliams, and Chucky Miller. Yeah. You know, I was kind of at the 3. We had Samad, Kimrock,
Enforcer, Draymond Green. Draymond.
We had Super John in there. Super John was in there. Lil Raheem. But then I'm not sure what happened at the varsity level.
No, your sophomore year you played varsity.
Yeah, no, my freshman year, something happened during the year. I'm not sure if it was a buyout or a trade. We got
high school.
We got a lottery pick in Rodney White.
Right.
And when he came down, it was like over, man. It was over. And I thought we had a super team when he dropped down. I'm not sure if he started JV, then went to varsity, and then came down to freshman, or he started varsity.
But he didn't start out with y'all. Right.
Nah, right. But that was a great crew, man. It was good playing for Coach White.
Right. Mine was a little different. When I came in, I'm like 1 year behind Cleo.
Right.
So when I came to high school, Orange was going through a transition, I think, too, from 81 to 82.
Yep.
82, it was a bad varsity year. But I think the best players in school, a lot of them wasn't even on the team.
Yep.
So either through grades or dudes was working or dudes could have had kids and went to work. It was like a grown atmosphere when we first got to high school. And I was thrust into the varsity, you know, like I really didn't think I was playing. That's what I like about Mr. Summers. He was like a soothsayer. He told me after a while when I was in the 8th grade, next year you're going to play varsity, you'll start JV. And I'm like, nah, I want to play freshman with my boys. But me and Cleo went through, during that freshman, sophomore year of both of us, I think we went through the thing where we started to separate a little bit from your crew you grew up with. And now you're playing with the older guys I'm not going to say they was jealous or they was pushing us, you know, but they was hard on us, man. When we moved up, like when I played varsity my freshman year, I didn't get a lot of run my freshman year. JV, I got a good run, but varsity, I didn't get a lot of run, but I was 6'5". So I was one of the tallest on the team and I was only a freshman. So they had to play me a little bit. But I think that experience of just getting, I think the criticism, getting dogged every day, fighting in practice, like we had to scratch and fight. And it was like, I'm just glad that we went through it early in high school. So it like put something in, you know what I mean, Cleo? It like made us like tougher because I was always cool, kept it simple because I was killing with dudes my age, you know, 8th graders and all that. Because I think around the way too, Orange always battled East Orange. So if you was, I would consider probably the best player in the 8th. And in East Orange, you had like Byron Carter, B, right? And then you had Troy Bradshaw, because his brother was Clyde Bradshaw.
Oh,
So his younger brother, Troy, God
but like Reg said, my junior year, his sophomore year, I felt really, really comfortable. And part of that was Sharif Martinez, man. And I say it to this day. We played against Dave Rivers, and Sharif got caught smoking a cigarette.
I talk about that all the time.
the day before, and he didn't play.
The coach wouldn't play him, which was crazy, and it was a battle. It was going to be a battle.
And I talked about, look, let me get Dave, but I really didn't want none of that smoke. I really want that. But I'll say to this day, I'm not sure what the score was, Reg.
No, it was a close. We didn't get blown out at all. We played him head up.
I thought Sharif was so good, so fast, and so tough.
He could have made a difference. No doubt.
Hey, Dave Rivers played the NBA. He played with Notre Dame.
Right.
But at that point in time, Sharif was that guy.
Right, underrated. Extremely
underrated. Yeah. And we had some good upperclassmen, you know, like Flake was good.
Right.
You know, Tariq was good.
Tariq used to dog us all the time.
And I just found out my man passed, Garland Moody.
Yeah, that was my man.
Yeah, was he
he was 82. He was 82.
Okay.
He was gone by sophomore year. He was gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, Reg was. Did you start? You started
I started my sophomore year.
Yeah. So
my whole thing was just trying to get rebounds. I just wanted to be on the court. But see, the crazy part with me as a sophomore starting, they had me at the 5. So I'm playing the 5 my freshman year, the 5 my sophomore year. But when I'm in the park, in the playground, I'm playing like, you know, I can handle a little bit, but I couldn't do that in practice. If I dribble, coaches went off, other players went, yo, what are you doing? Get a ball up. And the thing with me was I stayed 6'5". So now I'm a sophomore, I ain't growing. I thought I was gonna be 6'8", 6'9". I just stopped growing. So my sophomore year, I'm like, yo, I really need to dribble some more. So I'm glad I had somebody in my ear like an Ed Butler who kept me balanced a little bit, because coaches was disappointed because I'm not playing tougher, and my players was disappointed because I was, you know, trying to do too much. Like, yo, give me the ball, don't dribble. So it took, and then when you go home, I had 2 older brothers that was just crucifying. My brother Ryan and Stefan. They would, Cleo laughing. Yo, Cleo laughing because he know after every game, yo, they would just, oh man, I had the 2 worst critics at home, and that's a good thing now because it gave me tough skin. So couldn't nobody say nothing negative about me or my game that would bother me, because my brother Rod told me that a long time ago. He told me that 100 times. So you can't hurt me. You know what I mean? So that's when I knew Cleo was doing his thing. But Cleo only had, actually I think one of our last games we played in the playoffs, the first game, because our sophomore year we went kind of far in the playoffs a little bit. We won a couple of games unexpectedly. And because Sharif came back and we was playing okay. And I had 1 dunk. I dunked the ball against Wayne, somewhere in the playoffs. I got this one. I only had 2 points in the game.
Yeah, no, it was Wayne Valley. It was Wayne Valley.
You remember that?
Yeah,
I got a dunk. Everybody went crazy. I was like, I gotta really do this. So I was focused.
To me, that dunk, Reg, was in slow motion. I can't remember why it was. It was in slow motion to me.
Everything was, it was. So when I got the dunk, we won playoff game. Then we end up, I think we lost to West Orange after that, I think. Something, because Scott Adebayo was doing his thing. Kyle Dodson. They had a nice group. And we lost. And then that summer, with Cleo junior year, the light came on for him. That summer, the light came on for me because Ed Butler hooked me up to go to 5-star. So now when I go to 5-star, I'm a little dude on the team. I'm 6'5". There's dudes on my team, 7 feet, 6'10", 6'8". They ask me, yo, you a guard, right? I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? You know, and I ain't had no choice. So now I'm bringing the ball up court. And the good thing about our era, it wasn't social media. So all we had was Street and Smith magazine.
Right.
So you knew somebody's name. This kid was good in California. This kid, da-da-da-da. But when you from Orange, East North, like we from Essex County, we already got heart. Like I said, I had my worst critics. So now I'm seeing these big boys, and I felt when I got the 5-star, I'm like, yo, a lot of these guys ain't got no heart. You know what I mean? I'm a punk half of them, and then I'm gonna just show my skill that I never got to show at Orange. Now I can show it. And Ed Butler came to camp too. He came out there. So now I had somebody who was in my corner, and it just seemed like my game changed in a week. And Cleo could tell you, like when I came back, I was just dribbling because I knew at the next level I'm gonna be a junior in high school. I'm still 6'5". That ain't going nowhere. I knew I would, and I wanted to play guard all the time. So I started dribbling more. So that summer when I came back, we had summer leagues. I would get the rebound, sometimes bring it up court. I wasn't listening to the Reg, give me the ball. I'm like, my man, stop playing. Yo, I could do this. And then my hop started coming a little bit. So me and Cleo started meshing more.
Yeah.
You know, that summer going into his senior year and going into my junior year. That's when we started to click.
Yeah. That's right.
The summer leagues you mentioned, was it Elmwood and a bunch of other places?
Montclair, MCAT.
Okay.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
Atari Saladin.
Atari Saladin.
He was a summer coach back then too.
Yeah, he started.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
and he would. Oh my God, Atari.
He probably was worse back then, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely when he was younger, he was. But you respected him yelling.
Absolutely.
At you. There's a difference.
Absolutely.
Like he would call Cleo. Remember, he would call timeout and bring you on the court and show you where you messing up. Everybody laughing at you. Yo, he would walk you under the basket and say, "You got to rebound for me." And I'm like, "Your boy's clowning you on the bike at the game." And I'm like, but you didn't take it personal with him.
Right.
Because he saw something in it. One thing Atari did that he didn't do with his other teams, he put us in Montclair men's league as high school team. Wasn't no other teams in the men's league. He put us in there with men because Atari knew, you play with men, you're gonna play much better against your boys. So we would play in the men's league and we would see the high school league playing like probably after us or the next day or something, Cleo. Yeah. And we didn't play it. We just played against the men all the time. So that helped us out. It helped me and Cleo, definitely.
Yeah, definitely it did.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now the conference back then, was it still the Big Ten, or did it broke up by then when you guys were?
Yeah, it broke up. Cleo, your senior year, did we start playing a lot of white teams? Because I know our freshman, sophomore year, everything was weak way, Central, West Side, East Star, you know what I mean? We were still, playing a lot of Black Christmas tournament. Trenton was coming to orange, Camden coming to orange. Like, it was going down, even though we lost, but the best competition was coming to orange back then. Then
the Pony Classic.
Pony Classic, Harry James.
Yeah. Harry James.
He ran it. Yeah, so that was that really helped us a lot. You know what I mean, Cleo? Yeah, it like boosted our confidence and everything. You know what I mean? Because we playing against these players that's getting all like Kevin Walls and all of them. They're getting a lot of love, and me and Cleo wanted our shine too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We wasn't scared. I think, I'm gonna say this right now for Cleo before I forget, because I put this in my notes. I think Cleo, and because I always want to be on a platform like this, and I tell people this, I think he was one of the most underrated players I played with. Me and him talking about Sharif, but Cleo, the reason why he was underrated, I think, because his skill set, I think if he would have went the 5-star once, his notoriety, everything would have been totally different. So back then, AAU was not big in the early 80s. AAU wasn't big at all. It was just basketball camp was everything, 5-star. So if you ain't go to 5-star, it was just high school. And high school was good, and no disrespect, I love Coach Blake and Thompson. They did a good job. They was basketball minds. We had Atari and all that, but they didn't have the resources with all the colleges, like if you go to camp. So I remember coming from 5-star. Remember, Cleo, I was getting all these letters, St. John, Syracuse, everything.
I remember.
It was crazy. It was crazy, like the how everything just changed. It was like, yo, Reg, you ain't that dude. But I said, wow, just going to one camp can change your life. And I think it changed mine like that. But I knew it would have did the same for him. But go ahead.
Yeah, I thought, Reg, when you came back from 5-star, I saw your transition from 5-4-3. And you could play my position at the 2. I honestly thought, had I been in that kind of spectrum of 5-star, I would have transitioned from like a 3-2 to probably 1. That's probably where I should have been at the 1. But I mean, you live and you learn, and as we are older now, we try to part that knowledge onto our youth and our different spectrums and our journeys. And that's it. Trying to grow them, and teach them some of the lessons that we learned. But definitely agree with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, I mean, as a team, do well, and then the accolades, even individually, start pouring in for you guys. So you guys got college choices to make. Like, how was that time for both of y'all when make a decision to go to school or what have you here? Like, how was that time for you?
Cleo, you go first, because his senior year, my junior year, I was opening it up, but Cleo was getting all the accolades. He scored 1,000 points, and it was more or less his team, and I'm on it, just like. But Cleo was, he opened the doors for me, throwing me this. We had a play called North Carolina, and Cleo was the only one, I think, on the team that really knew how to throw the alley-oop pass.
Okay.
And my dunk game got retarded after. Like, I just had dunks, 2-3 dunks a game or whatever. It was just, everything was easy. So it was Cleo's show. So Cleo, your senior year was everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the dream was to go to Seton Hall. That was the dream.
Okay.
And my father talked to PJ at the time. PJ was like, man, hey, it's not too heavy, man. The foot speed, got the foot speed. And after that, it was, I'm going to go somewhere in the CIAA. It's going to be Winston-Salem, probably. And so Coach Gaines recruited me, and I went down there on a visit. And actually, Reg, went down there with my mom, my dad, and Carol.
Okay.
That's
high school sweetheart. It happens.
Yeah.
That's another Zoom.
Yo, all of us had one. Everybody had one. High school sweetheart. Everybody had one.
And I went down there and met with Coach Gaines, and he was like, Coach Gaines was talking to him, man. His voice was so deep. He was so tall, so big. It just seemed like he was talking to God. And I was like, oh, goodness gracious. And my father's journey and his legend down there was so huge.
Yeah.
And Earl Monroe was my idol growing up. I was like, man, I don't want no parts of this right here. So it was like,
the pressure, right? A lot of pressure.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you don't want the pressure. What are we gonna do? So I'm like, I don't know. So my father's like, well, there's always the Army. So
Yo,
my mom was like,
the Army.
Yeah, my mom was like,
Cleo not lying. That's the funny
Yeah.
My mom said, look, I'm gonna call my brother who's down in Durham, and she calls him, and they said, let's bring him over to North Carolina Central. And when I went there and we walked the campus, and they had an interim coach. I didn't really know what interim coach meant at the time. I was supposed to try to get some paperwork done, apply to the school, and then come back to New Jersey, see if I got accepted and go back, or I guess the Army. So I loved it so much. My uncle was like, look, he's going to get accepted. Y'all just drop him off here, man, and he'll do the last 3 weeks in Durham and then just come to school. So I was like, oh, wow. They was having parties on campus in the summer. I was like, okay, this is great. Yeah. So I never went back. They left me in Durham with my aunt, uncle, and cousins, and that was it. It felt really good. It felt really good to go to North Carolina Central.
Yep, no scholarship.
Yep.
Yep, full ride. That was it.
So you finished high school down there?
No,
this was in the summer.
In the summer, just for the summertime. Got you. Yeah. Got you. Okay. Okay.
Cleo 1,000-point score, did his thing, all conference, all that stuff. Hey, Cleo, hold on. I gotta go back, Cleo, just a little bit. I think another thing that separated me and Cleo, like they had youth games in East Orange.
Youth games, yep.
And I remember me and Cleo, we played for a coach that saw something in me and Cleo, like Mr. Summer saw when we was young, and that was Coach Preston.
Yeah.
And Coach Preston and Mr. Oliver, Mr. Oliver was the drill instructor, and Preston was the basketball mind. And they ran the youth games in East Orange. And me and Cleo, they didn't have a youth games in Orange. So you had to go to practice. But back then, you didn't get rides to practice and your parents dropped you off and they there. No, you had to walk. So we had to walk from Orange to Upsala College to go to practice and stuff. Or past there to Clifford Scott. We had to walk from Orange to Clifford Scott. And me and Cleo was the only one from Orange trying out. And I think it was other players that was just as good as me and Cleo, but they just didn't push themselves to go to the next level. You know what I mean, Cleo? It was weird. Yeah. Like thinking back now, I don't even remember why they didn't try out. Me and Cleo like, yo, Cleo, you walking over? Yo, let's go. So me and Cleo would go, and Preston saw something in us, and next thing you know, the youth games, even though it was East Orange, it consisted of like 2 or 3 guys, like Quintus McDonald's and David Cummins from Montclair, Reggie Cleo from Orange, and a couple of dudes from East Orange, a couple of dudes from York. And that helped our game.
Great competition, man.
Oh, man, we played against Dan Ferry, all them dudes from, Cleo. You can check. Me and Cleo played 2 years in a row. We went to UMass, right, Cleo?
Yeah.
Then we went to Georgetown.
Uh-huh.
One time UMass, one time Georgetown. And it was a great experience playing with different guys. That's when you get that basketball camaraderie.
Right.
That's right.
And that's when me and Cleo was known more than just Orange and East Orange. You know what I mean? Like different people, you just get on the map, and we held our own a little bit. You know.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was great competition.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and no, I know a lot of people. As we mentioned youth games, said a few people even in my era playing youth games. I remember that. Now, Reg, I know Cleo leads, and it's your show, and then and you got college choices. I know you talked about the letters and everything coming in.
Like, it got crazy.
How did that go for you?
It was a double-edged sword because it was cool. My brothers and them, like, they had their mindset on what I'm gonna be doing. Like, you know, like my brothers, it was crazy, man. Plus, my head was, you know, I had a big head a little bit. I started to realize I was all in, like, popularity was everything and trying to be the man. And I just ran with that. The crazy part, my mother always looked through it. Like, because Kareem was my favorite player. And Kareem always was on the dean's list, a small player, and Betty knew that. My mother knew that. And she would always say, Kareem getting his work done. So if he get hurt, my mother would always say, what if you get hurt? What you gonna do?
Yeah.
So I guess she was a soothsayer. So I remember Cleo, my junior year, I had dunked on somebody Orange or Irvington, and I had fell. That was one of the first times I fell and was paralyzed.
Yeah.
I dunked backwards on somebody. And when I fell on my butt and I couldn't move from my neck down for about 40 minutes.
To death.
Yeah. And I remember they didn't know what cervical stenosis was. So it happened in 7th grade and 11th grade. So the doctors, you know, I would go to the hospital, they say, hey, just don't play ball for a week or whatever. And then I knew something was wrong. Even when I played back then, like after games and stuff, my fingers would be tingling, but I never told nobody. And I didn't want to tell nobody because I knew if you tell somebody, they're going to look into it and it's probably something you couldn't. So my love for basketball was greater than walking to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I know something wrong, but I'm going to keep playing. So my senior year, now I'm getting all this love and I'm playing somewhat cautious. And that's why I moved to the guard spot too. I ain't got to bang down low. So I want to play guard. And I remember my senior year, I'm doing well. It was funny. Cleo came home from school and I wanted to show out, you know, my boy coming to the game. And Cleo, remember you walked there, you saw me playing the point, I think, or something when you came in. I was bringing it up court. Cleo like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah,
So I wanted to be that. My goal was to be like a 1-2 my senior year. So we had a nice team also. We were 18-3 rolling. And then we had a situation where the state came in, somebody grazed, and it was Coach Thompson took over, Coach Blake wasn't there, and it became something where the kids lost as opposed to, because we had to forfeit a lot of games. We had a JV player that if he played in the varsity game, the whole game was canceled. So we went from 18-3 to like 9-12. And we knew all we had was the Essex County tournament. I think somebody else talked about this recently, like they knew they couldn't play for the playoffs. I forgot who you had on. But I remember we played against Scott. All right, was just to go to the championship at Essex County. So I'm like, Scott, we just started beating them because me and Cleo lost to Scott all the way through. You know what I mean? So senior year, we finally beat Scott at Orange, finally, because I had Troy Webster killing me, all that stuff when I was little. So we turned the tide a little bit, and we had to play Scott. And we played at Bloomfield High School to go to the championship against whoever. And I remember we was up 1 point with 5 seconds left, and Rob, my man Rob, the guard from East Orange, God bless his soul, he passed away, I think, last year. And we played, it's 5 seconds left. We almost stole the ball. I'm walking up the court like, oh, this is a win. He grabbed the ball at half court, turned around, heaved it, and it went in. Lost the game. And I remember coming to the locker, I was so hurt. I was mad. I was cussing. I was going crazy because I knew basketball was over for high school. And come to find out, I couldn't get I didn't have a 2-0. So I was the type of dude that I ain't do the work. I was cool, I ain't do the work. So that's when Garfinkel, I'm playing in the North-South game. You know, I still didn't know where I was going to school. This is like into April, we playing in the North-South game at Rutgers. That game was big back then.
Oh, no, I remember it.
Yeah, the top like 20 players in high school played in that. I had a good game. And I remember after the game, Garfinkel came to me, he said, and I'll never forget this. And I was just hurt because I had like a militant attitude. Not that I was pro-Black. I guess I always was. So Garf came to me and he was like, yo, son, how could you be so stupid? You're a good kid. I was like, what? who you calling stupid? And we like almost arguing a little bit. He was like, don't worry about it. You go to Mercer County and I'll put you in any school you want to go to in the country. Because he knew all that hookup with 5-star, all the coaches, everybody, they was placing me in Mercer, then placing me in other places. I wanted to do the opposite of anything golf was talking about. Because like I said, back then I was a hothead a little bit. And Ed Butler was like, okay, my mentor. And we went to Fork Union. I tried out down, and this was like June before I graduated. I went there. They was like ranked in the country. Then I went to St. Thomas More in Connecticut, and I was more comfortable going to St. Thomas More. So I went up there, like my post-grad. I had to do a post-grad up there, and that worked out real good.
Now, interesting you mentioned, I actually for football did post-grad at Maine Central. That was their rival.
Okay, yeah, that was
MCI. Yeah,
MCI, man, yeah. Yo, you didn't tell me that when you was working at Central Playground back in the day. When I didn't know that. Yeah, you went to Maine Central and St. Thomas More was rivals. So went to St. Thomas More, and I was doing real well. But the coach told me, I think the first game I had probably like 45, 50, because the offense he ran was just push the ball, and I was just. The point guard gave it to me on the wing, and Reg, you go. I'm shooting. So he said, look, man, you got to average like 20. And I remember Tom Kinchowski, God rest his soul, he just passed away. He came to a game up there, and he put something in my head that made me change my game a little bit too. He said, Reg, you know what I need you to do? I'm like, what's up, Mr. Chinkowski? He said, you got to get 4 blocks a game. And I'm like, 4 blocks a game. So now I'm going to average about 20. Assists more, so it made me switch my game to just an overall. I'm going to spread the game around instead of just trying to score, because then you one dimensional. So he wanted me to play better D, this and that, and then I became more of a balance. We went to the New England Championship and all that. We lost to New Hampton Prep. We lost to them by like 1 point. I always losing these 1 point championship games and stuff. Lost by 1 point. You know what I mean? We had a good game and all that. Experience is cool because I played with another guard, remind me of you, Cleo, my boy Andy from Springfield, Massachusetts. He ended up, what school he went to? St. Thomas Aquinas. He went there. He was a great point guard. You know what I mean? Underrated. Another one, Cleo, didn't go 5-star. You know what I mean? I think if he go to that level, you get more exposure.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And then I always wanted to go to Rutgers University. And so I went there. Rutgers recruited me out of high school. Little Page came in, a black coach. That was the first black coach. He came in, and I was like, wow, I always wanted to go to Rutgers. Rutgers was nice back then. The John Battles, the Eddie Jordans and all that. And plus, Rutgers was the biggest school in New Jersey. I always wanted to go there. Another thing about Seton Hall, I ain't like too, they didn't really recruit orange too much. They didn't. Nate Rogers, Greg Tyne, after Nate and Greg, they ain't even mess with us no more. So I was like, yo, whatever. So I said, I want to go to Rutgers and change things around, a little bit. And got the Rutgers. I had to sit out another year. So by the time I got to play, I was, ready to roll, practice for about a month. And I'm like 6th man, somewhere around there. but I'm older anyway. I'm like 20. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and I've been working out, but not really working, you know what I mean? Like, just because when you sit out, you couldn't do nothing with the basketball team. So, I come in, I'm ready to roll, and that's when in practice, me and the guy was going for a loose ball, and I fell, and I hit the ground, and I couldn't move again like my junior year. And that's when Rutgers had the money. They looked into this thing. They studied my whole body from head to toe. They always thought it was my lower back. Come to find out, it was my spine. And I had something called cervical stenosis that just came out to the forefront. They didn't know what it was in the 70s and early 80s, but then they had the MRI came out with the imaging, and they saw that my spine was very narrow up in my neck. And Rutgers was like ASAP, like, Reg, we got good news and bad news. I'm like, what's going on? They like, good news, you'll live a normal life. Bad news, basketball's over. We're keeping you on scholarship. Yeah, so it was like, and it was so fast, it was swimming. I was like, whoa, but in my head, I was going to keep playing. I just didn't accept it. For about a year, I didn't accept it until I knew, like, it was over. But they was cool. Rutgers blessed me enough to keep me on. That was the blessing. I played enough to earn that scholarship, and they honored it, which was major. And what's crazy too, man, the first time I told Ed Butler, because everybody was worried, Reg, what's going on? I said, look, man, my career over. And he didn't say that. Like, most people was hurt Coach Littlepage cried when he was telling the team. It was crazy. Like, I didn't think he liked me the way he used to yell at me all the time. So he telling the team, and he cried, and players was hugging me. It was crazy. But one thing Ed Butler said, he just said, "Okay, all right. So now you gotta get that paper. We gotta graduate." And it wasn't like, it was like, "Hey, we gotta transition into something else. You got that scholarship. You gotta earn. You gotta use it and make it happen." So that's when, and I didn't want to. Everybody said, "Reg, why ain't you coach?" And at the time, I was mad at basketball, so I stepped away from it. And I was always popular, so, and people always gave me love. So Rutgers just grabbed it and hugged me. Orange grabbed and hugged me. So wherever I went, I was always, "Oh, Reg, oh, come there, Reg." You know, Cleo was crazy. Like, where for years, like, and I just always got a hug from people. So that made me transition better, where it didn't mentally bother me as much as it probably would have bothered the average person. Because my goal was, I want to go to the league. I want to play guard.
Right.
Do the thing. So, yep.
Now that post college, just hold tight real quick. I just wanted to just ask.
Right. Go back to college with Cleo.
Yeah, I just want to ask. Yeah, you leave Orange. Obviously, you go to CIAA route, North Carolina Central. I mean, obviously, probably for Reg could probably echo the same thing. I'm sure it's just a whole nother world from good old Orange down to Raleigh, North Carolina there. How was that transition just as a 17, 18-year-old being down there? I mean, you can keep it PG, or it's up to you.
That's a loaded question right there. Now, I love my college experience, man. I loved it. My first year, we weren't very good. And then we brought in Mike Bernard, and actually I hadn't spoken to Coach Bernard probably since I left Central. I had a bad play in the NCAA tournament, and I actually haven't been back to Central since.
Really, Clay?
Yeah, man.
It took a while. Yeah.
It took 30 years to even.
Hold up, yeah, you was at Shaw. I'm thinking, even when you was at Shaw, you didn't go to Central?
Yeah, no, man, no, I didn't.
Whoa.
I didn't. And he and I talked about it. This was last week. That was the first time I talked to him last week. But he came in, and he was everybody still calls him the Black Bobby Knight. Like, he coached hard, man. He coached hard. He was intense. He was accountability. He was defense. He was pushing. And my career went up and down for 2 years, sophomore year and junior year under him. And then senior year, it all kind of clicked. Look, I got to run this man's system. It's not like it was in Orange, play coasters hard, but the best players, you had a long leash.
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't even let Thompson get at me when he when he wanted to. So my senior year kind of all came together. I was coming off the bench, playing behind my roommate, and we went 25-1 in non-conference play and in our league, and we got to the regional championship, Division II, and we lost that game to go to the Elite Eight, and then kind of the career was over. But looking back, the lessons, even though they were hard lessons from Coach Bernard, that kind of helped shaped my coaching philosophy, and between him and my father and Coach Blake and Atari and Greg White, that shaped, taking a little bit from each one of them, that shaped my coaching career. But I had a great time, great teammates. We took the program from 4-21 my freshman year to 26-3 my senior year, and the kicker, Reg, the next year they won the national championship, and that I was happy for them,
right? Because you built it, you helped build it.
But it just, I was like, wow, when that happens, it's like, wow, you were the problem. That's how I felt. And going back to our conversation earlier, I honestly felt that to get to that national championship my senior year, it would have been better for me to have been able to transition to the point guard position. I felt like if I could have played with my roommate as 1 and 2, that's where I could have helped myself and helped the team. But I wasn't even in combo probably at that point. I didn't get to combo until Australia, but my college career, I have no complaints. Had a lot of fun, and
Didn't you hurt your ankle your freshman year? No, I'm only playing. I'm only playing.
Yeah,
no, that's a joke between me and him. I know you heard his ankle, but go ahead.
Yeah. I caught it.
I remember it. It's all good.
Now you guys become men as far as obviously I know each pass is different. Reg had the injury, unfortunately, but still college basketball still provided y'all with an education. And then I think even outside of that, like what's next? I mean, I know Cleo, I know you pursue some pro aspirations as far as playing ball, and like how's that transit just into manhood? It's like no more, free ride, so to speak, with college. Like I gotta grow up. Like how was that for you guys? I know it was different paths, but how was it?
Cleo, you want me to do the simple one?
Yeah, you can, Reg.
For me, when I came out, like I said, Orange always embraced me. Like one thing I tell people all the time, because I'll go around and speak and all that stuff now, doing the brotherhood program. I think the basketball play, if you live in the hood, especially back in the 80s and 70s and stuff, the drug dealer and the basketball player got all the love in the hood, period. Even if you play other sports like football, whatever, that's a number. That's number 12. He nice. Number 80. He nice. Basketball, that's Cleo. That's Reg. That's right. You know what I mean? Like they know your name because you visible. So by getting hurt, it's two things happened. Everybody felt sorry for me, and I was popular and knew, the town. I didn't like. I always gave Orange love. I never made Orange. I made Orange proud in that sense that I represented well. And I tried to. And so when I came back, it was almost carte blanche. Yo, you want to substitute? What you want to do? You want to, we here. And I didn't realize the magnitude of like mentoring or working with younger people. And I didn't take that serious for a minute. So when I first came back, like I was directed at the playground with y'all. Like I was wilding back then when you told me you was at, when was that? Like 92 UK? You was
91, I worked in the summer on the playground, yeah.
Right, so I'm at the playground bugging out, a summer job, what still wasn't taking it serious. Like I said, my house behind the Peppermint. So I was partying, going, like, I'm gonna tell you how I was. My mindset was like this. When the doctor told me I couldn't play ball no more, he said, "You got any questions?" One of the first questions I asked him was, can I still dance and stuff? He was like, "Oh yeah, you can dance a little bit," because I grew up in that era. Everything was house music, Zanzibar. Because I was I always like, I didn't want to be that basketball player robot. I always wanted to, have like, I guess you call it like, I wanted to have some type of fluidity. You know what I mean? I wanted to be graceful all the time. Before I got hurt, I was ready to take up karate because Kurt Holloway was ready to, karate Kurt around the way. He was ready to teach me until my spine because I was ready to, I was ready to just broaden who I was. And Orange gave me a lot of love, so I came back. And for a couple of years, I was doing life and health insurance. I wasn't feeling that. But I always felt working with young people, especially males, and they had a program in the middle school called Brotherhood. It was like a life skill class, and the guy was leaving, so I took over. And once I took over, it like helped mature me because I had to leave a lot of the silly stuff alone I was doing back in 92, 93, 94. Even though I was helping out, Cleo and was coaching, and I was helping out a little bit, but never officially on staff, but I would come and help because I still didn't want to be around basketball on a daily basis. I was still hurt on the low inside. So I didn't want to be around it a lot. I would want to touch it, but not be around it. And then when I started doing the pro, I started seeing the need that young men was going through in the late 90s. And I started seeing Orange fall. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, man. This is the same town I grew up in, man. How come this side of town don't like this side of town no more? What's going on? So I said, let me start doing that. And I started doing the Brotherhood program. Then it thrust me into activism. Like, it's nothing I chose. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be an activist when I grow up. Nah, it was almost like young kids like, yo, Miller, so-and-so got shot. What we going to do? All right, we ain't going to retaliate. We're going to try to stop people from shooting. So what do? All right, we got to go protest. We got to go to City Hall. We got to do this. So that's when life changed for me like that. So if I'm on the forefront protesting, I can't be wild and cursing on Main Street and acting a fool. You know what I mean? I had to become mature for them, and it helped me in the process. And just it's weird too. Like I really think my mother started respecting me when she saw that side of me. The sports, she still wasn't. She like, yeah, you still clowning though. You know what I mean? But when I started doing those things, and my father was, my father knew I played ball, but when he went in the store, probably in 2001, I remember this. He came home. He said, "Yo, man, these kids really love you around here." I'm like, "I live around here. I'm working around. They better." And he said, "Nah, man, I was in the store. These kids just roll up on me. Yo, you Mr. Miller. Yo, you met Mr. Miller." And a lot of kids, Cleo, believe it or not, some of the kids don't even know I played ball like that. They just know me from running the program and they'll go to Orange High, see the name on the wall. They like, "Yo, Mr. Miller, yo, you was kind of nice." I'm like I said, I don't brag about that. I let other people talk. Right. And because I remember the bad. And see, this is the thing. I felt if I wasn't winning championships at Orange High, this and that, I wasn't. I was good, but I didn't think I was as good as what other people said I was. Okay. You know what I mean? And plus, that was just the process. And one thing I had to hang my hat on that made me feel good, I had to switch it like, oh, wow, I couldn't play. All right, what's the positive? The positive is no one never told me I wasn't good enough. I never got cut. And those feelings are, because I got friends who went through it, who played at Rutgers in high school. And once the cheering stopped, what do you have? You know what I mean? So I had to leave on other terms, but they pushed me into something else with young people. And I love activism and working with young people, especially young males.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's absolutely good stuff.
Word. But Cleo went to Australia. He was a dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll say this. As an athlete, basketball player, athlete, you never know when the ball is going to stop bouncing. It's not something that you know. And that can be a scary thing once ball stops at whatever age. You're doing it for so long. Like me and Reg started at, like fourth grade. And it was a scary thing for me thinking about it. I did get in some trouble in Australia, and the ball kind of stopped bouncing then. But what happened was my second year in Australia, I coached the under 14 girls team, and I had a dominant team. Like they were dominant, and that was the spark of coaching. And based on how I did with them, the team actually wanted me to be player coach. So I did that for a year, and that's when the coaching bug started. Yeah, and then I came back home, and like Reg said, Reg didn't want to do the coaching. When Reg didn't want to do it, then they went to the next person, which was me, and I was kind of thirsty to do it because of my experience in Australia. So coaching the freshman team sparked it. I guess you go from the under 14 team to summer league first in Orange, and then coaching the freshman team. And then after that, probably the biggest intervention I had was Ed Butler taking a liking to me as a young man and helping me get into the coaching ranks. Once I met Ed, he shared, more about the business of coaching than even my father did. My father, he, a little bit like you, Reg, he ain't want to really be bothered with the business of coaching. Like you didn't really want to be in the gym on a daily basis like that. So Ed was the one, he was the one that helped me make all my decisions early. I can remember having he had an interview for me set up with I want to say Austin P. And I didn't have my degree yet, because when I left college,
right.
Yeah, working on my degree, I had the opportunity to go to Australia. So I dropped everything and left. So Ed set that interview up, and my thing was, look, let me come down there, I'll coach, I'll be in school, I'll work on my degree. And it was like, oh nah, nah, we don't do that.
Yeah.
So I had to go back in the summer, go down to Durham, get my degree. And then once I got my degree and back with Ed, I remember having the option to coach at Quinnipiac or take a high school job at a prep school in North Carolina, which at that time was Mount Zion.
Word.
Okay.
And Ed showed me the pros and cons of both. And then I end up, going to Mount Zion. But before that, it was still under Ed's tutelage of working his camp, EKB. And that's where I, saw how coaches kind of dealt with things, and Ed helped me get in. He helped me get into ABCD camp, and that's where I met the coach of Mount Zion, and I actually coached one of the games. McGrady, Khalid Alameen, a couple of more guys. I coached them for about 10 minutes, and then that's where it took off. And I owe all of that to Ed Butler, man. He started it.
See, Webb, it's crazy how Cleo, you got to go back to Mount Zion too in a second, but Ed Butler remind me of like the basketball mafia of Orange. He's like the Godfather.
Yeah.
So you got to go through him somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
If you want to just to either go through him just to get his graces. Oh, that's a good decision. Or Ed gonna hit you with the, I don't know. I don't know. You got to be like, you don't know. And then he got to explain to you, your options and stuff. So I think he's like, if it's a basketball mafia in Orange, he's the Godfather.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
But Cleo, go ahead with Mount Zion, because I remember Cleo calling me. He like, Reg, you got to see this kid play. I said, who? He said, now the best compliment, Cleo, you gave me, you said it early on when he was in high school, when he was raw, because trust me, I ain't trying to hold on to this, but I remember Cleo said, Reg, he remind me of you.
Yeah,
Hobbs, and it was crazy. I'm like, yo, some kid, he said he got handled, he got crazy hops though. I'm like, what? And I jumped too, because I remember my junior year when Cleo was a senior, I came in second place in the dunk contest in New Jersey. See, Webb, I don't think you remember New Jersey used to have a high school dunk contest.
I never knew that, yeah.
They would invite the 30 best dunkers around the state, would go to the Meadowlands, and you would compete, and then halftime you would have the best 5 dunkers would be at a Nets game. At halftime they would have a dunk contest and whoever won. So I came in second on that. That was cool. So that put me on the map too, because people were like, all right, Reg came second. But when Cleo called me and told me that, I said, yo, who this dude chasing me? I gotta find. And then that folklore thing, like nobody knew who he was.
Right.
Cleo, go ahead, man.
Yeah, when I went to that camp, and the coach let me coach a couple. I wasn't coach. I was really just substituting guys in, and I won't get all into meeting Coach K and all of that. That kind of came in the middle of the camp, but the coach said, "Look, man, I want you to help me train one of the players." And we talked about coming down there and how I would get paid, and his thing was, look, I can help you eat and but I can't really give you like a salary. We can work on that. So I really went on just faith.
Wow.
But at the camp, he showed me who the guy was, and they were like, look, he's going to go to the NBA out of high school. And I was like,
yeah, back in the day, you're like, what?
Yeah, like, he ain't Darryl Dawkins, like Darryl Dawkins. Maybe 2 other guys, Moses Malone and I think Spencer Haywood. I was like, yeah, let me see this kid. And he was really raw. He could handle the ball. And his handle was kind of like Reg. It was kind of like Reg. He was built like Reg. But I thought Reg shot the ball better. He had an ugly looking jump shot, but his athleticism was like
charted.
And it was really crazy. Yeah. And he played. They hyped the game up against him and Lamar Odom.
Oh, I was there. Go ahead.
He outplayed Lamar, and
he embarrassed him basically.
Yeah, he dunked on the kid. Dion Glover was the dunk.
I remember him. Yeah.
and
the whole gym went crazy.
Yeah, he came in at was it player number 499? He left
crazy.
that week. He left that week at the #1 player in the country.
Went from he just got there on a whim, right, Cleo?
Yeah,
he wasn't predicted to be at the camp. They just said, "Yo, you got room," and they brought him in, and he just went crazy in a week. Crazy.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So, Cleo, how was it, Coach? I'm sorry, I gotta ask a question. How was it coaching Tracy and how did you see it after you started spending like a couple of months with him when you was at Mount Zion? You definitely knew it was different.
No, I didn't. No. The politics were there now. You know, the push and the politics with Adidas was there. I saw him as a super athlete. I saw him have that he had the it factor. I thought he was a great passer. Believe it or not, the coach really didn't want me working with him on his shooting. I worked more with him on
really?
I worked more with him on ball handling.
Okay, so that
I worked more with him with that. And the coach did more with him on the shooting. He had him shooting 100 shots a day from half court. Don't even
from half court.
Huh?
Hey, look.
Hey,
he was like 300-400, sometimes 500. But whatever. But he had the it factor. Like people were the lines. I mean, he wasn't a good player on the team. He was the best player, but we had, it was some 11 Division I players on that team.
Right, crazy.
And, we were ranked #1 in the country, but the people that were coming to see him play from all walks of life, black, white, just all nationalities, and the lines were like incredible. Like the lines were almost long. And he showed that he had the potential. And I remember we went to a game one time. I think it was Orlando.
Oh, he's from Orlando, right?
Yeah, and in Miami, it was a playoff game, and I was sitting with him, and he said, "I could play at that level." And at that time, I was used to we all saw the complete player of Michael Jordan,
right?
And
right.
Magic Johnson, he wasn't that, and I just was like, wow, that's a stretch, man. But the politics were behind him, and he himself had the confidence, based on everything else having the confidence in him. And Kobe had just done it the year before. So when he made the decision to turn pro, it was like right away, we wanted to hook him up with Kobe. And I'll tell that story, and then I'll jump off of that. But he went down there with Kobe because it was, the thing about Kobe's work ethic.
And he was with Adidas during that time too, Kobe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he called us after a week and was like, man, Kobe don't work out like that. I was like, what you talking about? He said, man, we get up at 11, go get some shots, play at like 1 to 3. And then sometimes we come back and play later at like 6 to 7. So we called down there and was like, look, man, hey, we thought Tracy was doing this. Kobe was doing this and that. And he won't hit McGrady until like the 3rd workout. Kobe was up at 4 o'clock, running the miles from 4 to 5, lifting weights from 6 to 8, getting shots from 8 to 10, and then calling McGrady to play. And that's how he was, rest in peace.
Like Kobe wasn't giving you the whole Kobe. He gonna give you a little bit of his stuff.
Yeah.
He ain't giving you his secrets. He gonna give you a little,
Exactly. But no, it was a great experience coaching that guy, man. Coaching at Mount Zion. It was great.
Right.
It was great.
Now that just spearheads you to, how long were you there before you just go to the college ranks? I'm sure that was just kind of magical for you.
It was 2 years at Mount Zion, and then I got the opportunity to interview at Nebraska with Danny Nee, and that was, again, part of my maturation process as a coach, learning what they did at Division I in terms of organization, scouting reports, film sessions. I didn't, my coach didn't really do that part of it. So it was a learning experience dealing with that, and still kind of being under the Adidas umbrella, and learning the politics of that. But it was great. I learned a lot. I learned a lot at that level.
Now, Reg, I know you watching Cleo do this whole time here. What have you? And I know you said you kind of fell back a little bit from basketball. You get a little dose here and there, throw up some shots or tell somebody a story or two, or what have you.
No.
Does it start coming back as you're just seeing, Cleo kind of rising through the ranks?
I think one thing, when Cleo came back to coach at the high school, he was in Orange for a few years before he went to Mount Zion. Me and Cleo still played a lot of pickup together in the park. Yeah. And I would do, everywhere I went, they was like, Reg, be careful, yo, win, because nobody wanted to be the one that, hey, Reg got paralyzed with us. You know what I mean? So me and Cleo would just go to Orange Park and just run it all day, like a 1-2 combination. And I knew I had to play light, but when I really stopped playing, it had to be around 94, 95, somewhere around there. Like when the tournament champion, Orange won that, Cleo was coaching, and rest in peace, my boy Darvin that played with me, Darvin Bethea, he was one of the coaches too. And he played with me in 85, and he played at Bloomfield. And Orange Harry James had the Pro-Am League at Orange High School, or Central Playground. They had the pros coming up, the Mario Ellie, Mark Jackson, crazy. What's my man that passed away from the Knicks, Cleo? He would Mason up there fighting dudes. Mason was wild. So I remember, I don't know if I wasn't in that league, but I played against Herman Austin from Wellsburg. You got to get Herm on too. He played a lot of years overseas too. He played at King College.
I remember that. I remember him. Yeah.
Herm was nice, and I remember we playing at Orange in a league or whatever. I'm playing with some guys, but I'm playing foul line to foul line. I ain't supposed to be out there, but I'm out there. So we had Orange High. Herm must have gave me, I had about 16. Herm must have had about 45. And I remember after the game, I'm taking off my sneakers. I said, and I looked around at Orange High. I said, yo, fellas, I'm done. They're like, Miller, what you talking about? I'm like, I ain't playing no more. Yeah, that's it. I ain't playing no more basketball. He was like, nah, Miller, yo, next week. Okay, Herm got you. Don't worry about it. We'll see you next week. I said, nah, if I can't play 100, I can't play. And then Herm knocked off. You're like, you ain't going to embarrass me at where I grew up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's when I stopped playing. That's why when I see Herm, I'm like, thank you, bro. Because I probably could have got hurt if I would have kept playing these little leagues and playing around. It wasn't worth it. So I'm glad Herm smacked me in the head, and I was like, hey, it's over. And that's when I started living. I ain't gonna lie, like Cleo, like my brother, in terms of we don't talk all the time, but if we talk, it's like yesterday. If I need him, he there. If he need me, I'm there. Like it ain't even no, we just connected in that way. That's like your basketball connection. Right. And the more he started to excel in his basketball career with coaching, I just lived through that. You know how he had that brother that's killing in the game. I was proud of all his successes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now you can tell, even just sitting here listening to both of you guys, you can totally just see that, and it's and that's what sports does. I mean, again, it's obviously you got the playing on the court, but you got the off the court where life really happens. You know what I mean? And to your point here, like Cleo being there for you and vice versa. I mean, you could just see that, and I think a lot of us that do play sports do have that one go-to that we might have met, do some type of sports activity. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I know you get to Nebraska. So what's your first head coaching gig as far as at the collegiate level?
From Nebraska, I left there and took assistant job at Shaw with the Mount Zion coach. And we had Ronald Murray. We had some good players. We had like seven very good players.
Yeah,
Flip was different, man. At that level, he was like Mike Tyson, man. He was a killer.
What's his real name, Cliff? Where you from?
Ronald. He was killer. Ronald Flip Murray.
Nah,
he played with Detroit Pistons.
Right, right.
Man.
Yeah, no, he had one of those M1 mixed tour handles. And he was, but and somebody asked me who I thought was better, him or Rayford Austin. And it's not the same kind of player, but the same kind of player. Flip was like really athletic, and that was kind of to me the difference. He was 6'4" and athletic, and still could handle the ball like that. But his killer mentality at that Division II level was uncanny. And so we won the CIAA tournament, their first one in their school's history, and went all the way to the Final Four. Had a shot at the buzzer to beat Kentucky Wesleyan and go to the championship, but it didn't go down. And Flip ended up getting drafted in the second round. Contract negotiations didn't go well with the head coach, so he resigned. They kind of halfway offered me the head job, but it didn't feel right. It didn't set right with me. It didn't set right with the head coach, how they were doing it. So we were both out. And I had met my soon-to-be wife there, and I stayed with her that year I was out, and applied for some jobs, and got a call from Cheney, and I thought that was a good situation. But again, I did call Coach Gaines and ask him about it, but then after that it was more or less Ed Butler, talking
back
to
the
Ed.
Godfather.
Yeah, go back.
And he told me the pros and cons, and I wanted to get back in anyway, so I took it. And my first head coaching job in 2003, and it was great. Being in the shadows of John Cheney, rest in peace. He passed recently. I had some conversations with him and ended up having a great year. My first year, I had a senior crew, and I ended up getting a ringer from Boston College, Ryan Sidney. And we ended up doing well, getting to the semis of our conference tournament and going to the NCAA tournament and winning a game in the regional tournament. Then we lost, but that was my first head coaching spot at Cheney University, which was Division II in the PSAC, Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. But it was a great experience. It was good. I learned a lot, and I took my learnings from my playing days in Orange to getting into it in Australia, and then coaching at Orange High School with Darv and Coach Thompson, who underrated Coach Thompson. I thought it was. And learning from Danny Nee, and again learning from Joe Hopkins, just all those experiences. You try to tie into one, and have your own program.
That is good stuff. And I know you obviously make another stop or two before where you're at now, Winston-Salem State. And I have actually a question for both of you guys, but one question with you, Cleo, as far as where you're at now, as far as Winston-Salem State, did you ever think you'd get there? It's interesting, your father being there, Coach Gaines. Like, how has this been? I mean, you got a lot of like people there, and I know the pressure probably even with the name that you carry as well too, being there. How's it been since you've been there?
Oh, never ever thought about coaching at Winston-Salem. It never popped into my head. It just I held them on such a high standard with Coach Gaines and my father that it just, I was coaching for years and just never thought about it. And when I got the opportunity to apply for the job, it was like, wow, you know what, that would be cool and kind of full circle. And it has been great. Nothing short of probably my best experience as a coach because of the support. There are people from my era that I played with that supported during the interview process. Then there's the era of me coaching as an assistant coach and as a head coach. I got the support from that kind of era. But then, my parents, my father's era, those are probably my biggest supporters. people that played with him and watched his career through the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And the chancellor has been great. We had an AD my first year, who's going on to be the athletic director at Shaw University. And then we have a new AD who came in from my alma mater, North Carolina Central, A.T.N. Thomas, and she's brought in her staff and starting her era, and she's been great. But between the AD, the chancellor, and the alumni and the student body, I have not in my professional coaching career had this kind of support. It's just been unbelievable.
Nah, that's great, man. And I think, that's just a testament to you. And I think also early on, you guys talk about, lack of resources and all that, but obviously with the HBCUs, the attention that they're getting and the money that folks are trying to give back. I know recently, with the All-Star game, I think something with the All-Star weekend, I know they donated some money, to the schools. So I think, again, completely long overdue, just the attention, those schools supposed to be getting. I think it's ridiculous you had to wait this long, those schools, but it's here now. So it's like, well, it's time to do something with it. So I think that's great. I think that's great. Well, absolutely. And then like Reg, as far as, and also Cleo, but I asked Reg first, like what is sports giving you that sticks to you to this day?
Wow. I think growing up, it was almost like if you was considered a dumb jock, and I was definitely living up to that standard. Being a dumb jock, wasn't doing my work and just worried about, just balling. But as you got older, I would think probably the new millennium, Cleo, if you play sports, it was almost like a win because it showed that you can work well with others. Yep. Especially if you was a captain on a team, that meant you ran the show. So when you went for interviews and stuff, I think early on, even when I was at Rutgers, I was almost embarrassed to say I was on scholarship. Oh, you an athlete? Like the professors would say that because I'm 6'5" and I'm Black. And, I'm like, nah. I'm like, you on the basketball team? I would say no, even though I was there on scholarship. When you got older, it became almost a blessing because now that I look back, it creates such a family atmosphere. And even your battles, we knew how to battle on the court and be this close to fighting each other. And when the game over, we can hug. You can't do that in a normal setting. If you're about to fight somebody on the block, you ain't hugging them in 20 minutes. So I knew sports taught me how to survive, and it taught me how to build relationships. It taught me how to persevere, through sports. I'm just so glad that I had the opportunity. I tell people a lot, in basketball, I really killed for only 3 years where I was good. My junior year, senior year, St. Thomas More. That was the only 3 years I really played exceptionally well. So most of my basketball prowess or career was based around being a part of, not the man. I was a part of this team. I was a part of this crew. And now working with EKB with Ed, but I know we talking about Ed a lot, but I've been doing that since he started EKB more or less in the early 80s. I came on board with Ed probably once I got hurt at Rutgers. He would ask me to come and coach. I never told him no. And Cleo was part of that too when he was home. I'm telling you, it was like you had to go do it. You coached at Elizabeth, you had to be part of that. And I always enjoyed doing EKB, but it still wasn't enough to pull me into the coaching ranks. And I tell some people, trust me, Cleo wasn't in the playground dribbling around in high school saying, man, I can't wait to coach when I get older. Right. None of us was. So I think you fall into it if you love it. And I didn't want to be a coach that would do it for money also. I think Cleo being modest, I think I just hate the politics of it too, because I know my boy is at a great level now at Winston-Salem, but look what he had to go through with a legendary father. Imagine if Cleo's father wasn't legendary, or someone like me getting into the coaching game. I got to start so far behind. It's weird. I look at Joe Dooley. Yo, I'm glad we grew up with him. Me and Cleo. He's from West Orange. Mm-hmm. He played for Benedict's. He started assistant coach at Kansas. He played for East Carolina. Went to Kansas, and he been coaching at now he's back at East Carolina, head coach for what, Cleo, at least 15 years or so, somewhere around there, 10, something like that. And Yeah, Levin came back, just signed a monster contract or whatever, but he's not getting those resources, those hookups if he was from Orange. If Joe Dooley was from Orange and a black dude, trust me, he wouldn't have what he had. So I didn't want to deal with those politics. I didn't love the game enough to do that. So that's why I'm glad that I transitioned to do the things that I'm doing and how basketball gave that to. I still love it. That was my first girlfriend. Mm-hmm. All of us that played, that's your first girl, basketball, because you fell in love with her in second grade, third grade, fourth grade. And, you know, we just broke up early. That's all. Yeah. You had to go on. That's it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Cleo, what it gave you?
Look, I think the same thing, though, Reg. I think, and Reg, you know, I got young kids, man. My kids young,
right.
9, 11.
Right.
And you have all these insecurities when you're going to new schools, and of course, it's been COVID.
Yeah.
But I think when you're going into a new situation, sometimes it can be difficult to get, you know, friends, you know, just, you know, meeting new people and becoming friends with them. It can be difficult. I think sports, it thrusts you into that. You're thrusted, regardless if you want to or not, into a situation where you have to communicate. You got to talk. You got to work together for a common goal. And that, I think, the successes and the failures bring you together as friends on some type of level. But I think what's also underestimated about sports is the networking, how you're still again thrusted into, whether it's a personal or professional friendship when you are in sports. And I think that has helped me, like Reg said, with the politics of coaching. There are good politics and bad. Sometimes work against you, and sometimes they work for you. And I think those are two biggest things that I've learned. I mean, there's some smaller things in between, but the friendships that you earn and the networking possibilities that you get within sport are beneficial on a lot of different levels.
Right. Cleo, I want to commend you. Cleo, I want to commend you, man, for being for showing resilience and patience that most people couldn't do. You know what I mean? Most people in your position, Cleo, would have probably gave up on coaching, maybe. And now because you went from I'm gonna do this, and you knew inside, and God saw something around the corner, and you saw it, nobody else saw it. I was like, yo, Cleo, I don't know, man. I think Cleo, man, I don't know. But I knew he had it in him. I just knew it was in politics, period.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so happy for his success, but I'm not shocked, because I know he had a basketball mind always. And I know he know the game. And I know if he get 5 that can play, we know Cleo know those X's and O's that we're going to win certain games. So I'm just glad he had the patience, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, most definitely. Well, we're gonna put politics to a side before I let you guys go here. I want to put you guys on the spot for a second before you know, like I said, I'm so gracious of your time spent right now. So let me just see if I can throw you guys on the side, throw the politics out the window here. So
look, I know what's coming. Let's go first. I already know.
Yeah. You're gonna throw this to the side here. So this has fun. Had some fun here. So actually, when you're both in Jersey, or obviously in the Reg in Jersey, so what we taking, the Parkway or the Turnpike?
Reg Miller Parkway, always close right here.
Turnpike.
Oh yeah, he went to school down south. Everything is Turnpike.
Turnpike.
Me, I'm going to the beach. Parkway.
Sandwiches or Romeos?
Oh, Romeos. Sandwiches was kind of expensive. I was cheap. I just wanted to slice and keep rolling.
You got to go Romeo's. It was close.
Okay.
Early years it was Romeo's. Later years sandwiches.
Right. See, he got money later years. You can go
yeah, that's
for
what
number
it
11. You know what I mean?
Orange Park or the Y?
Oh, Cleo. Oh, Cleo. That's a tough one for Cleo. For me, it's the
No,
Y.
it ain't. No, I'm Orange Park. Nah.
Oh, yeah. Cleo Orange. That's his
Park guy.
backyard. That's his backyard.
Orange Park guy.
Me, the Y. Just Y so sentimental, man.
This is an extra question to that one. The best part for pickup games. Growing up.
Orange Park.
Oh, Orange Park.
Orange
Park. Cleo, well, Central close second, but Orange Park. See,
Okay.
Orange Park had, you knew they was going to be there. Central, once in a while, you had these great games at Central, but Orange Park definitely.
Mm-hmm. Need a night out. I know you behind the Peppermint. So where we going? Peppermint. You going Zanzibar? Where we going? Do I need to throw a couple others in there? Y'all need a night out. Where y'all going?
Well, I fell in love with those clubs before the Mint even blew up. So, because I'm at that age where I was
Zanzibar,
going to Zanzibar, 88, 2001. People don't know about that. There was a club called 2001. Here we are in 2019.
Crazy.
But yeah, Peppermint Lounge definitely in front of my house.
Yeah, no, I didn't go to parties until '94. So the Peppermint Lounge.
Yo, Cleo was not hustling at the club. That was
you had to break them in, Reg. You had to break them in.
I think once he went to college, when he came home from college, he was a little different.
Life change.
Yeah.
Nah. Best game either one of you've ever played?
Ooh, great question.
At any level.
Great question, man. Oh, you want me to go first, Cleo? Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
Mine was, it wasn't even a whole game. I just think I played the best 10 minutes of basketball I ever played during my 5-star tryout. Because I went there as an unknown junior and they wanted me to play in the junior league probably, which was a NCAA. And the NBA was for the top rising seniors. And they had the best players in the country there, Boo Harvey, Lebo, Chris Washburn, Delray Brooks, all the top players. For 10 minutes, we had tryout. I went in the game for 10 minutes during a tryout. I made every correct pass. I hit every shot. I played the best defense. It was 10 minutes of perfect for me. Mm-hmm. And that's why they put me in the NBA level. Like, because when I called Ed Butler and said, yo, Ed, I made the NBA, Ed was like, I'll be there tomorrow. And this was from Orange to Pittsburgh.
Right.
And he knew the importance of it. I knew, but not really, but I played the best ball I could for 10 minutes.
Wow. For me, and this will probably shock Reggie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. After my sophomore year, a friend of mine took me down to his prep school in Pennsylvania, Pine Forge Academy. They had a game. I played in the game illegally.
He said illegally, not being so defeated.
Reg, I had 50. I had 50 points in the game, and they wanted me to come to that school so bad.
So bad.
It was a little gym, but I swear the gym might have held 1,000 people, maybe.
It was a shooter's gym, huh?
It felt like 25,000 people in there every time I scored a basket. I was like, I want to come. I want to come here. And I talked to my parents about it, and they was like, nah, it's 7-day Adventist and blah, 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 blah. So it never happened, but I wanted to go there. That felt like my best game that
was a magical game you had. Yeah.
Yes.
Magical.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll give you one extra one, Cleo. Best game you ever coached.
Wow. That's a tough one. Probably
championship last year? No.
Cheney. It'll probably be some games at Cheney University. Okay. I had no. Probably not. Probably Shaw University as in 2011. I had a crew that their basketball IQ was so high that whatever I drew up on the board, they brought it to fruition on the court. So probably probably one of the games in the tournament in 2011. We had a good run and won it that year. So probably one of those games. I can't remember which one, but probably one of those.
Good stuff. Best teams you guys ever been on at any level?
Mine, I ain't had this long career. Best team, I think easy was them like where my heart was that them I think that it was so pure, that Lincoln Avenue teams, elementary. Them teams, those guys, we still somewhat connected. It was weird. But it was you never found that same type of connection that we had at that young level. Everything was pure. It was early.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna go my junior year, man.
That was we had a connection too, that team.
Yeah, I like that crew. It's either that one or my freshman year. Junior year I thought we put it together. And being a shooter and a scorer, with Sharif at the point guard, I enjoyed that. Reg was coming into his own, took a lot of pressure off. Either that team
it took the pressure.
Yeah. No, it took the pressure off. Either that team or my freshman year. I love playing for Coach White.
Nah. How about someone who should have made it, whether it was at the college or pro level? Someone growing up or just someone in your journey, you guys' journey, someone who should have made it.
Reggie Miller? No, just playing. For me, it was so many around our way that should have made it. And when you say should have made it, it doesn't matter what happened. They just didn't go to that next level.
For whatever reason, right?
For whatever reason. Wow, that's a tough because there's so many. Should have made it. All right, I'm gonna put two guys I thought was really good, but it just didn't come to fruition. And I'm going with when I was in elementary, Robert Cole's little brother Wade.
Oh,
Wade was good.
Yeah.
Wade was good.
Yeah.
It didn't transfer to middle school, high school like it did in elementary. And the second one, he was like a comedian and he had pressure on him from his brothers. There's so many I could say. But I got to use a few. Freddie Rogers, because I was there when he quit high school basketball at the game. I'm in the 8th. He walked off the court. And they used to call him Dr. Duncanstein. Remember that? Fred was Dr. Fred. And I think the other one was my man from Orange, the tall brother that got killed. Keith Burton.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like Keith, they getting ready to do a move. They trying to do a movie about his story. They thinking about
really?
Like yeah. Because his whole
Anthony Davis to me. That's what he played like to me.
Oh, Anthony. Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah, way before. Yeah, he was more right. Anthony Davis. Yeah, because he was like a 7'2", 3. He could have played. You know what I mean? And I remember your boy came to Orange High to talk to the kids about 4 years ago. What's my man that played for Eastside, that played for Denver Nuggets, shoot the threes? Went to Eastside. He played recently in the NBA. He just retired. Randy Ford.
Randy Ford?
Okay. Randy Ford. So he came to the high school, Cleo. So he's talking at Orange High to the athletes. So I went over there. So one of the kids, they said, Randy, who's the best player you played with or against? He looked around. He said, I'm in Orange High, right? We like, yeah. He like, that's easy. Keith Burton, he played on my AAU team. He was better than everybody on the team. And this is a guy in the NBA who played years, and he said he just had that talent like that. But the street grabbed him. You know what I mean? He was part of the street. Yeah, Keith Burton definitely.
Yeah.
How about you, Cleo?
I'm gonna surprise Reg, make Reg laugh. Number one is definitely Keith Burton. Number one is Keith Burton. But I thought there was a guy that I'm seeing my garage door blow open. That I played with in the summer, and then I played with in the parks a lot.
I think I know who you're talking about.
No, you don't.
Okay. Is he from East Orange?
Kendall Lambright.
Oh, right.
Kendall was.
I would hold.
That's my cousin.
Cleo,
That's my cousin.
Yes, you can.
Kendall was tough now. Now he was tough.
Still play every day now.
Yeah. Kendall still play now.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he was tough when we used to go to the parks, man. His confidence level was always on 100,000.
Lights out.
Yeah, man, and he could run all day. He could handle. He could shoot. He just never was able to stay on the court. I can't remember what happened at
the high school. Yeah, I don't know, because him and Raheem, it was weird why they didn't.
Yeah.
Both of them. Kendall definitely. But yo, I gotta do the quick 50-second story about Kendall. Me, Cleo, Kendall. Once again, the Godfather, Ed Butler, played for St. John's. He went to St. John's late 70s. He played for St. John, Luke Corner second. Ed Butler takes me, Cleo, Kendall, and myself. He taking us. He's like, yo, what y'all doing Saturday? Nothing. Yo, all right, we going to St. John's. We all nervous because the Big East was everything back in like this was.
Right.
Cleo, y'all was like seniors. I was a junior. Y'all was seniors. So, or going into your senior year, I'm going to my junior year. Boom, boom. So we go over there. We like, all right, cool. We just going to go meet Luke Corner-Second, going to St. John. That's when Big East was everything. We get over there in the gym, Chris Mullen taking shots down one end. Mark Jackson and them working out on the other end, whatever. So Corner-Second says, hey, fellas, y'all want to play with the guys? So I'm shook. Cleo kind of shook. We like, all right, Ed, like, yeah. I think I said, yo, we don't have no t-shirts or nothing. They was like, we got you.
Yeah.
So we went down there, Clay. We played some 3-on-3s against Mark Jackson and a couple other players for St. John's against me, Cleo, and Kendall. And me, Cleo, and Kendall know our game. We play a lot together. Kendall Lambright gave it to Mark Jackson for about an hour. That's all I know.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
He made Mark look bad. And this is Mark killing on ESPN. You know what I mean? Mark Jackson. And because Mark was just making a name for himself, and coming back on the train, and Ed was like, just know, fellas, you could play at that level.
That's right.
And it like opened all our eyes. You know what I mean? Cleo killing. We were just out there like, it was really, we were starstruck, but killing them at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's right. It was competitive. But no, Kendall was giving work out there.
He was giving work. I remember that day.
Good stuff.
Cleo. Kendall, that's a good one.
I like Wayne Cole, though. I like that, too.
You like that on the low? Yeah, Wayne Cole, yeah.
Nah, shout out to Kendall. Yeah, he'll enjoy this. He'll enjoy that story. Who's better? This is separately. Reg the player or Reg the motivational speaker?
Ooh. Well, Cleo really haven't heard me speak too much. You know what I mean?
I've seen you. I've seen you.
But this is me asking you, Reg, about yourself.
Oh, you're asking about myself?
About yourself.
Ooh. You know what's crazy? Both of them never reached their potential yet.
Okay.
Basketball is definitely, I will always be floating with that one. Mm-hmm. With motivational speaking, I still got a lot of work to do. I told you, I'm cut from I don't brag about myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Other people gotta say that. Al Mack, one of my, I never knew he felt the way he felt about me one time. We was talking last summer. I never knew he was at my games back when he was young. You know what I mean? I never knew he looked at me that way. So I was like, whoa. But Reggie, go ahead. Yeah, Al Mack. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was one of your players, Cleo, back in the day.
Yeah, my year. We came out together.
That's a good question. Motivation. I think the basketball player is in a cloud. Okay. And the motivational speaker is doing better every day. Trying to get there. It's just telling the truth. That's why I tell people I'm not a motivational speaker. I just tell the truth. Somebody asks me a question, I'll keep it 100.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cleo the player or Cleo the coach?
Yeah, I like that. Go ahead, Clay.
I'm going to say probably the coach.
Okay.
I would have, as a coach, I could have easily stopped Cleo the player. I mean, I wouldn't know how to defend him. So I'm going to say.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to say the coach. I'll say the coach.
Okay. Now you guys can answer this separately or together. So Orange Park, y'all got to bring a a starting five from Orange, who to play anybody that comes on that court that day. Who y'all bringing?
Man. Is me and Cleo playing?
That's up to you. You guys can answer this together, or you can do it separately, and you can add yourselves. I'll leave.
Well, I want me and Cleo at our prime.
All right, so we'll do it separate. So how about you, Reg? So you got bring 5 from Orange to play against anybody all day.
Oh man, that's a tough.
So you got you and Cleo. So that eliminates 2, right?
Yeah.
See, that's tough because there were.
So
Don't leave people out. That's the fun of it.
There's an Orange Park weekday crew.
right. And a Sunday morning crew, right?
Yeah, that's those two different. Those two different crews, man.
Now, Cleo, weekday was local guys, and Sunday the mornings was guys from all over the county came to Orange Park, right? Am I right?
It was more older guys.
Well, yeah, from all over came on the weekend. During the week, you had more or less your regulars, right?
Right.
But you got to think, Webb, Orange Park regulars consisted of a little bit of Newark, East Orange, and Orange. So you had your McNeils and dudes that was doing it.
Yeah, that's that.
But if y'all could put 5 from Orange throughout your life, who would that 5 be?
Oh man, I gotta go first because I'm no disrespect to nobody because I played with some great guys throughout the years.
Would it help out this? Who'll be your guard? Who'll be your one? We'll help this out. Who'll be your guard?
I'm comfortable in his prime. I could have put. See, for Orange. I'm gonna say I'm gonna play for this in the park. I'm gonna play the 3, and I could easily put. I'm gonna put Cleo at the 2 because I know he can hit all of that. But he could have easily played the 1. That's what I'm saying. I could have put him at the 1, but I'm gonna play the 3 because I could have played the 2. But since I got me and Cleo playing, I'm gonna play the 3. He gonna play the 2. My point guard coming out of Orange, it gotta be the tactician, the one that you can go Greg or Ed. I'm gonna go Greg Times.
Okay.
Because Greg could run the point. He could score 2. So my 4-5. See, that's what I'm doing in that position. My 4-5. Boy, man. I think my center. Who would I use for center out of Orange? Orange didn't have a lot of big centers that was nice that came to the park.
See, are we saying Orange High School or Orange Park?
Oh no, Orange High School Park. Anybody from Orange? You can say
from Orange. They gotta be from Orange.
Got it. See, that's a different crew for me.
Okay.
Right.
Park. So we're saying probably played for Orange then.
Yes.
Yeah, probably played right. He's saying probably played for Orange. I think the 4-5.
And you even gotta have a 4-5 if we need some more 3s and 2s.
Yeah.
It's
I'm just saying that played for Orange. That was real, like, because my boy Boyd is definitely in the building. You got a lot of guys that's in the building. In terms of a lot of guys got better. This is so hard, man. Potential. I'm putting Keith at the 4. Keith Burton at the 4. Me, Cleo, Greg Times, Keith Burton. Somebody that bang. Cleo, you gotta give me a banger who was in there. I'm going with see, this probably gonna shock a lot of y'all, but I like this game as a big man. He could probably play the center for this squad we on would be Kevin Rogers. I could have said Reggie Mason too, but Kevin Rogers. He was more athletic. And that's hard. That's hard to, because I got guys on that team that played at basically all levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Cleo.
I'm not. I think the criteria is what sets the team.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking myself out of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna take myself out of that.
But the question was, who you bringing to the park if you had to pick? So you coaching the team? Okay, you the coach. Who you picking? Okay.
As the coach. I'm probably gonna be small.
Like his brother. Don't he sound like Cleon? Cleon went with all guards, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna put Reg in there though. But Reg, I'm putting you at the 4 though. I'm putting you. Listen. You're not a power forward.
Oh, you
stretch four. He's stretch four.
The big guard, Durantish.
Okay, Paul Pressey. I got you.
Right. So I'm going with Tynes as kind of my 3, and my backcourt is going to be Ed Butler and Rob Cole.
Yeah.
So
Rob definitely. Yeah.
Ed, Rob, Tynes, Miller, and Bob Butts probably.
As a big man?
Yeah.
Because he had 1,000 boards.
Yeah. The criteria for that is
it's so hard.
I know. It's just having
Ronnie Norwood. You got guys that.
Yeah. I mean, if you got a second team
Skip,
and all of that,
Skip easy.
Yeah, you got to have Skip. You probably got to have Duval in there.
Yeah, the big man plays smart.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, there would be a vote for my brother in there.
Your brother, he can shoot from anywhere.
Absolutely.
And
then a bunch of people. You got Tariq. You got a bunch of people there. Yeah,
I'm probably gonna have Al Grant in there too on the side.
I forgot about them, right? Him and J. Rob, all those guys. Right?
Elevator boy. We had a cool man. We had a lot of guys. Now the thing that's weird too, a lot of players, Webb, you'll notice too, a lot of players got better after high school.
Right.
So we're going on what you did at Orange High School for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like when you got, you know what I mean, you got better. And another thing, certain criteria, I felt that to make that list, you had to do it at the playground and on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And a lot of players in the inner city, you was either Mr. Playground or you was the man in high school. You know what I mean? A lot of guys couldn't do both. I think Cleo was real good at both. You know what I mean? Probably better in the playground, I say Cleo.
I would say.
Yeah.
Do both your squads?
My handle didn't translate. My handle didn't translate to in game. It was good.
It was in the park you had a yo-yo, no doubt.
Yeah.
Both those squads, they stay on the court all day?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, wow.
Because me and Cleo used to stay on all day.
Okay,
I'm not bragging. That's
that's just the truth.
But
that's just the truth.
Because we knew each other game like that. Absolutely. It was easy to play. You know what I mean?
That's just the truth.
Yeah.
Easy to play.
Good stuff. Now, my last one, and I'll leave you guys alone. Senior year, Cleo, senior year, Reggie, I play 1-on-1. Who game to 7? Who wins? And what's the score?
Oh man, I like that.
My senior year and Red's senior year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Cleo. I'm gonna say this. I'm going first. Cleo was. I'm gonna say this. A lot of people didn't know this. He was deceivingly quick than what most people thought. Cleo not that fast. I thought he was, especially going downhill.
Yeah.
I think if Cleo, if he made his jump shots, he could probably get that. But if he missed them, I think I would, because I would do the down low thing. You know what I mean? My athleticism, I would probably try to do that. You know what I mean? Or people would sleep my jump shot. You know what I mean? So if you leave me open, I'm gonna probably hit that. And Cleo, I'm hoping he missed. So the way I get that, if he missed, and I made mine. So I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough, because me and Cleo, we know. Yeah.
How Reggie's length would have bothered my shot would have been the key. If it bothered my shot, then I wouldn't have a chance. But if I was hitting the jump shot and he had to really come out there, then I get the nod. Like I remember before Darvin passed, and that still hurts so much, man.
Right.
That hurts. But he was talking about the one-on-one tournament that Mr. Blake used to have, and how I beat Torrey 11-0 in the championship.
Was it 11-0? But Torrey claimed the fame is that he beat me to go to the championship. That's all he talks about all the time. Reg, I beat you.
Told me the year before, he said, yeah, you beat me 11-0, but the year before I beat you 11-0. And I was like, really? I don't remember that, but he swears.
I'm not going with none of that.
I don't remember that.
Torrey Pelham, he was left-handed. The left-handed 4. He was left-hand 4.
Yeah.
He went to King College. He had a good career at King. I think he was when my man was leaving, Torrey was like probably senior, something like that. What my man I just named, Herm Off. I think, did he play with Herm? I think he played with Herm for a minute. I don't know.
I don't remember.
We call him Greyhound.
Yeah.
He was good too. Now, one thing me and Cleo did, we had a legendary, I know we've been on 2 hours, Cleo, we said we wouldn't do it. I know it's a lot. And see, Webb don't even edit. He just go with, Webb just let you run.
No,
but I'll say
we
this,
good.
the thing I think about Cleo, and I don't have a lot of basketball memories and stuff. I don't have no tape of me playing. I don't really have a lot of stuff. But I remember me and Cleo had a legendary game of horse at the high school. And Cleo, I don't remember who won that, but it was so good that we got a crowd. We had a crowd come down because we started shooting from like half court, way out of bounds, like behind the bench. Mm-hmm. And then I would hit the shot. Like, I know Cleo not going to hit that. He would hit it, and people was just going, like, we had a game of horse for like 30 minutes for one game. It was crazy.
Wow.
You mad, Cleo? We was,
because I didn't know you could shoot like that.
Right.
Right. Good stuff, man. I know before we take off, honestly, I just want to thank you guys again, just being, from Orange, and obviously your careers and lives that you guys have had, man. This is, obviously I know some things, I got a couple of cheat codes, but I just think just in general, though, it's just been cool just to sit here and just hear these stories, things you, like I mentioned right from the beginning, like, just knowing you guys' names and who you are, but just to hear you talk it out and kind of take the stroll down memory lane, like, I really, really, like, appreciate it. And I could care less about the time on here. I know you guys probably like, I'm only giving this little joker probably a half hour, but hey, you get going.
Let us go.
But it's cool though. It's cool. I just wanted to thank you guys. I know you guys got other things going on, and I appreciate just taking this time, and it just talks about just Orange in general, like just the kind of people that was raised and continue to do the work there as well too. So like I said, I couldn't ask to be from a better place, and I just really, like I said, thank you guys. You being officially y'all just helped it be officially Ib, and I thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
It's all good. Appreciate you, man.
Definitely, man. You have a great platform, man. Yep. You have a great platform. You do your
keep pushing.
Right. You have good questions, and people follow you, man. It's good content. So keep up the good work. We appreciate you.
Thank you. And I know I see Cleo looking over. Hopefully your garage door is all right over there too, man.
Man, I got a new house, man, and it's I'm seeing stuff.
It's a blessing, man. God is good.
Lights and everything. So after this, I'm not doing nothing but unpacking boxes, man. That's it.
Congrats on that. Congrats, Reg, with everything you're doing with the speaking and everything too.
Word.
Thank you,
don't
guys.
Forget to send me your address, man. I'll get you a shirt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, definitely. I appreciate it.
Reg, I need one, man. Reg,
send me your address, huh?
You gave me a large shirt, Reg. I ain't
that was it?
Haywood Avenue, man. I need a double X, man. I need a double X.
Please just text me your address. I got you, man. Text me the address.
Got it.
All right, fellas. Yo, love y'all, man. Appreciate it.
Back at you. Be safe, everybody.
Guys, man.
Word. All right.
Thank you. All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Like I said, legends just round the way, Orange, and greater men and things, their lives have taken them in different directions, man. And it's just one, the brotherhood in regards to just, you could just see it like right from the beginning here, like these guys genuinely like care about each other, as far as people, never mind the athletes. So just a lot of things just to take from, with that, I'm out on this one. Put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.